Good morning, participants. We are super excited to welcome you to the third episode of our Carrick Property webinar series. I have to say, I have not been this excited to date. We just have a super exciting product to present to you today. And I get to work today with the incredible Spencer Lodge, who's based in Dubai. Spencer is a super salesman. He's also an old friend of Carrick's, and he's presenting the product, the French development to us today. Just a few points from my side. Firstly, apart from the excitement that we have around this product and the potential investment case, it's just a first-class product. It's run by a top hotel group. It ticks all the boxes in terms of an investment for both South Africans and Africans, and anyone else for that matter. It's underwritten by a solid balance sheet. It just really ticks all the boxes, and I do think that it's an opportunity that comes around once in a lifetime. And so without further ado, I'm going to hand over to Spencer Lodge and let him take us through it. Spencer, thanks for joining us today, and thanks for sharing all the information on the development.
No problem. First of all, thanks, Brad, for having me. It's good to come and do this stuff with Carrick. You're a fantastic organization, and it's been awesome seeing you grow over the years. So yeah, it's great excitement that I have to come and work with you guys, and I'm sure that your investors and your clients are going to be interested to ask questions and learn more about this opportunity. Just to give you a little bit of background on myself, I'm from the wealth management industry. I've been in financial services for now nearly 27 years. So yeah, I feel a bit old at the age of 50, but it's all I know. And I know a good opportunity when I see one, and I also know one to avoid. And I'm very pleased to be able to come and share this product with you for your staff, your clients, and potential investors. So without further ado, let's take it from the top, shall we? Investing in real estate around the world has pros and cons, depending on what type of investment you're making and what your plan is. Often investing in real estate over the short term can be kind of challenging because the slow and steady tend to invest in real estate more than the Bitcoin traders, should I give as a comparison. However, getting it wrong can lead to buying property that has negative equity, not having tenants, and all of those types of challenges. And again, most people do their due diligence and are able to find good opportunities. But with this opportunity, we're dealing with something very different. First of all, it's a resort development. So this is not buying an apartment in a tower block in a city centre somewhere. This literally is a resort development, and it's in France. And why is France interesting? Well, believe it or not, France is the #1 visited tourist destination in the world. They have more visitors going to France every year, even than to the United States, which, as you can imagine, is 20-30 times the size of France. So France is a very popular destination. And what are the reasons for that? Well, first of all, it's part of Europe, and you have Belgium, Luxembourg, Holland, Germany, Switzerland, Italy, Spain, Andorra. There's so many countries that border onto it. You know, the UK is only a 21-mile tunnel ride through to France as well. So it borders many places, but it also has been known to be the food capital of the world. The French are very proud of their food, which attracts the foodies. It also has the fantastic Côte d'Azur, the Dordogne, all the best. I'm talking to South Africans here, so I've got to be careful. Some of the best wines in the world come from France as well. And then you add it onto the kind of like millionaire lifestyle of places like Monaco. You can see why it's so appealing. Obviously, Paris, as well as the capital city, is a very popular location in terms of cities tourists go to every year. So as we were looking into this project and trying to understand what the opportunities were, first of all, we saw France as a very attractive place to invest in a resort development. I'll go through that with you right now, and we've got some slides here, and hopefully you can get a good idea of it. But the hotel resort is in a place called Limousin in France, and Limousin is the food capital of France. Very close to Limousin, you have an airport called Limoges, which is an international airport, and 10 minutes from the resort, you have a train station that has a direct train into Paris in just over 2 hours. So in terms of its location, it's in a decent location. So let's make sure these slides are all good for us. see what we've got here. Bear with me as we go through these to make sure they work efficiently. Okay, here we go. So the Wyndham Houseman Retreat. Oh, I've gone one past already. There you go. That's the things that happen when you go live on a webinar. Here we go. So this is the chateau that's in Limousin. This chateau is owned by a company called Halcyon, and Halcyon are a developer, and it's run by a hotel chain called Wyndham. And Wyndham, as a hotel chain, is the largest hotel chain in the world. They own over 8,000 hotels around the world. And Wyndham signed over this contract in 2017, a 20-year management contract on this resort, including this stunning chateau that you see there. This was the home of the French resistance in the Second World War, so it's got a huge amount of history attached to it. And it's beautifully positioned in 200 acres of rolling French countryside and forests. Let's carry on. Here you can see, if you look at the bottom left-hand side, you can see where the hotel is located around the estate, and you can see the buildings that are going up and are being either renovated or new buildings going up to the top right-hand side of that image. And obviously you can see parts of the golf course and tennis course and stuff too. You can see a forest down there on the bottom left, and in the forest you can then see some buildings there. They're the villas for the project, and the white buildings are studios all the way through to 4-bedroom apartments. And so as a resort, it really is very stunning indeed. So it's, as I said, it's centrally located. It's within easy access to international airports and train stations. It's 2 hours, 40 minutes by train from Paris, 10 kilometers from 2 national railways, and it's only 40 minutes from Limoges International Airport. Paris Charles de Gaulle, Orly and Lyon airports receive flights from all over the world daily, with short 1-hour flights to Limoges operating a number of times a day. So into the main hubs in France and then out to Limoges. Or when you look at airlines such as Ryanair, EasyJet, and these budget airlines, they fly directly from cities in the UK and Europe into Limoges as well. So the resort is over 1 million square meters of land. There's full planning for over 300 apartments and forest villas, operating an upscale boutique chateau. There's a huge amount of facilities, which I'll come on to in a while. Phase 1 is completed and operating, and finished buildings and apartments, okay, over 60 apartments and over 70% completed. So some is already done, some is almost done, and some is underway. So we're at different phases with the development. So the facilities that we have, if you can imagine, I've got kids, and when you go on vacation with kids and you go to a resort, typically it's more geared around the kids than it is around the adults. As resorts go, for me, I want to go somewhere where I can do a bit of fishing, or I can play a bit of golf, or I can have a bit of kind of like me time as well as the kids. And this is how this resort's been developed. And it's been based on a theme of a hotel chain, which is the most successful hotel chain in Europe by occupancy, which is Center Parcs. And Center Parcs typically, though, is a 3-star style and type resort, whereas this is much different. So first of all, we have a world-class spa facility there. You can see the CGI drawings. On the right-hand side is the spa castle itself. That building is now finished, and they're just fitting that out with the spa facilities. On the left-hand side, you can see the indoor and outdoor swimming pools and sun decks that surround the spa. Very beautiful indeed. There's a picture there of the indoor pool and this very, very luxurious setup that they've got there. Inside the spa, it looks like this. And as you can imagine, in that kind of French countryside style, you see beautiful finishings. And again, my wife likes the spa, as I'm sure many people do. And that's just a fantastic facility that they've put together. As we go through the slides, we'll see here the 18-hole golf course and the chateau in the background. And it really is a fantastic facility to get out there and enjoy the golf. This is the golf course under construction at the moment. We are almost there. It will be ready fairly soon. First tee-offs will be at the beginning of June. So that'll be the first tee-off times for guests going there. And as you can see, quite a lot of it is done. There's still stuff to finish. And as you come out of the winter months, less rain makes it easier to get it done. This is the clubhouse that's going to be built fairly soon. So the clubhouse will be up around the 18th and the 1st. and it'll have a restaurant and a bar in there. It's a lovely facility, just like you'd expect at a 5-star resort. The hotel is a boutique chateau hotel. It has 19 suites within the hotel, and it's very famous for weddings and conferences. It really is an area of outstanding natural beauty. We have an equestrian centre there for horse lovers and for people that want to ride. And again, that's very popular for people that want to be out in the countryside. We can go fishing. There's 2 fantastically stocked fishing lakes. There is outdoor activities like you wouldn't believe. I'll go through many of them. I can't remember, there's so many, but we've got obviously mountain biking, quad biking, clay pigeon shooting, archery, forest walks, countryside paths, nature walks for children as well. So there really are lots and lots of facilities. You've got a great gym there as well. So there's multiple gyms, mixed ability, okay, weight training classes. Again, for people that want to go to a place like that and have a detox and enjoy themselves from that point of view. The kids, how do we keep the kids happy? There's a 1,600 square meter kids adventure zone that's been put together, and the trouble won't be getting them in there. The trouble will be getting them out of there. It's such a fantastic facility that's built. The kids have got laser quest to do as well, which is a fantastic activity. It's very inclusive. It'll bring the kids together and they'll have a fantastic time. And yeah, maybe they won't want to spend time with mum and dad when they're down there. Indoor aquatic centre is going to be built fairly soon, and that's including essentially a water park indoors. There's an indoor beach, tropical pool area, goodness how many slides, hydrotherapy pool as well in there. Really something very fantastic indeed. We have conference facilities there too, and again, a great venue to have conferences. I think the fact that the Wyndham hotel chain are running this resort means that they have, I think, 86 or 85 million privilege card holders, and they do a lot of this kind of stuff. And so it's a fantastic facility to take your staff out of the city into the countryside to a great venue and to host them there. So on site, we've got an 18-hole golf course and a driving range. We've got a world-class spa, an idyllic original 16th century castle, the upscale Chateau Hotel, an award-winning a la carte restaurant, the Aquadome Play Centre with slides and flumes, the 1,600 square meter children's adventure play zone, conference facilities, equestrian centre, well-stocked fishing lakes, tennis courts, and many, many other facilities there. So it's one of those places that you go, you don't need to leave. The properties have really lovely high-end finishings in the style that you would imagine in an historic French countryside. And as you can see, that's one of the bedrooms there. And we'll go through and look at a bit more. There is a 1-bedroom apartment. You'll see the living room and the dining area, and something very, very beautiful. The old buildings have got wooden beams throughout as well, so it's a very picturesque area. Here you'll see some of the properties under construction. This is, again, some examples. So we've got a combination of old buildings that are being restored and then new buildings that are going alongside it too. And you can see some fantastic work that's being done there to give you an update of what's going on. And that's, we get a monthly video sent to us from the developer that we share with all of the clients to show them progress on the development as it's going. So as you can see, some of the older buildings there that are being converted into apartments too. And so really, really characteristic and historic and, you know, that beautiful French countryside style. The new builds here you can see, so on the right-hand side, you'll be able to see, I think that building is Renoir, and all of the buildings are named after French artists. And so you'll see that finished building there on the right-hand side, and on the corner there, you'll see apartments with floor-to-ceiling windows and nice terraces, and very, very pretty indeed. And so that's where we are with some of the buildings so far. They're complete. I just think they're being furnished. So what's the inspiration? The Centre Parks is where the idea came from. So they wanted to build a Centre Parks, but a 5-star Centre Parks, not one that people were doing on a budget, but people could do in luxury. And you know, nowadays there are so many people that are looking for that luxury, that trip they go on, that vacation they have, where they go to their place and they spend time down there, and it really is satisfying from a food and activity, hospitality perspective. And when you look at this, you really do have something fantastic to see. So we've got a world-class destination for those who have the idea of spending time and reconnecting with their family in an environment of outstanding natural beauty. And I think really that's where the inspiration comes from. We see tourism has been affected along the way over the years. You can see that 2001, September 11 took place. We see that SARS in 2003 and in 2009, the global economic crisis. But tourism has continued to expand. And so many people will have witnessed what's happened with the coronavirus over the course of the last 12 months. But the staggering thing is the occupancy in hotels, because of people's absolute desire to either leave their country or get away and go and have a vacation, or just go and have a long weekend somewhere, has kept tourism levels high. And while some countries have gone into lockdown for periods of time, that's only some. China is not on lockdown. Tourists are traveling from China. India is not on lockdown. United States, they're not on lockdown in many parts, or most of it, apart from California. And so tourism is still very strong. So why is this a great proposition for the client? At the end of the day, we have Wyndham, which is the largest hotel chain that manage this resort. They have 20-year lease they've taken on it. They're 3 years in. Okay, you have access. They have access to Wyndham's 85 million enrolled loyalty card customers. That will have a positive impact on occupancy percentages and room rates through the whole year, putting the resort firmly on the map as one of the most sought after luxury hotels in Europe. Now, the Wyndham Hotel Group has undergone extensive due diligence with Halcyon, the developer, giving the customers an unparalleled peace of mind. And so you really do have that kind of behemoth, that the big guys out there that have gone and done their homework to make sure that this result is up to their standard and will deliver what is being promised. So let's just go into Wyndham, just to give you a bit more detail on them. Okay, they are the world's largest group. They've 9,000 hotels, over 804,000 rooms. I mean, it's just staggering to think of them. They're present in hotels over 90 countries around the world. They own different iconic brands that maybe you've heard of, so Ramada, Dolce Hotels and Resorts, Travelodge, their budget chain, okay, and James Villas as well. They've chosen the House and Retreat to be one of the first hotels in France, and it's part of the Wyndham worldwide marketing campaign. So Wyndham as a hotel chain are huge in the United States. They're huge in South America. They're large in Australia and Asia. Okay, and in Europe, they're in Europe, but they're not the biggest in Europe, and they're wanting to get their footprint in there and grow. And that's why they've chosen a resort like this. So let's look at the developer themselves, the Halcyon. It's a French company run by British people. So it's a French company run by British people. They've got over 130 lots of land, totaling the amount of acreage, 200 acres that they've got down there. I mean, it's huge, 1 million square meters in total. It's a huge area. The resort has full planning permission for 350 apartments and over 60 activities within the grounds. And the developer owns this resort. They own everything. There's no debt, there's no finance, they own everything. They own that hotel. Okay, Wyndham manage it, the developer owns it. And so you're dealing with an organization that is not carrying any debt in any way. And obviously, anybody who's ever worked in hospitality will understand this, but partnering with a hotel chain as big as Wyndham means there's a ton of due diligence that will always be done to make sure that they've got the right partnership, and that's what they've gone through to get there. So what's the deal? Well, quite simply, there are units, studios, all the way up to villas, and those studios start from 186,000 euros up to 1.1 million euros. This is what's interesting about this investment opportunity, though. So please pay attention and ask questions if you want to about this, so that I can make sure I clarify everything for you and you're clear. The developer is offering a fixed rental return for the first 5 years of 6% per year. So whatever you invest, you'll get a return of 6% per year on your money as income paid quarterly. That'll be for the first 5 years. Now, after 5 years, you have a choice. You can give the property back, and the developer will give you back what you paid, what you invested. So let's say you invest 200,000 euros as an example. After 5 years, the developer will give you back your capital. And some of you may say, why would you do that? Well, as a developer, it's in their interest to buy the property back so that they can resell the property. So by giving you a capital guarantee on your money, it means that they're given the opportunity to buy the product back at the price they paid. Now, you don't have to do that. You can sell the property on the open market yourself if you want to, or you can keep it as a holiday home. But as an investment, essentially, it's an investment paying over 5 years, 6% per year. and your capital is protected. Now, after 5 years, you're given some options. You can continue for a second period of 5 years, and you can get 8% as an income, which is then 2% per quarter, paid to you for a further 5 years. So you're generating income on your money every year. And when you get all the way through from years 5 through to 10, they will offer to give you your money back, okay, at the end of any of those years. So let's say you go to year 7 and you're like, I would like my capital back. They will give you your capital invested back. Or alternatively, you can sell the product on the open market yourself. Now, if you look at French property prices over the course of the last 20 years, you'll know that France doesn't have a huge amount of volatility. It's one of these kind of slow and steady environments for capital appreciation on real estate. It's not one that's volatile in places here like Dubai, for example, where things go up and down like a yo-yo. France is kind of slow and steady, 2 or 3% a year in terms of capital growth on assets from a real estate point of view. So again, if you get the property, let's say for 10 years, you get 6% per year for 5 years, 8% per year for the second 5 years, and then you can value it yourself on the open market as you own the freehold, or you have the security of knowing the developer will buy the property back from you. So in terms of the ownership, you will own the property. It's your freehold property that you will own in full. And your options are option 1, you can pay 5 installments of 20% per quarter for the next 5 quarters. And then after the 5 quarters, you'll receive your income. Or if you would like to receive your income now, we can find a property that's available for you now. You put the 100% investment straight away in. That 100% investment straight away will mean from the beginning, as in once the money is received, you will start to receive your income straight away. Okay, so whichever option you take, you can choose. It's entirely up to you. From an investor's point of view, so I'm an investment advisor. From an investor's point of view, my advice would be to invest the money as a lump sum, take the income on it straight away, rather than that money sit there for essentially 4 quarters while you're paying in installments, if you have the ability to do that. If you don't, then I fully understand. But as an advisor, I would say that would be the best option. Does that make sense so far, Brad?
Yeah, absolutely, Spencer. Looks good.
Okay, let's just go through and have a look again at a bit more. Let's make sure what we've got here. Is there a delay? Simone, do you want to move your mouse? Excellent stuff, thank you. Let's see what we've got here. So, just to go back, your guaranteed buyback. The developer will offer to buy your apartment back for 100% of the price you paid from years 5 to 10. So let's make sure you understand that. The studios are 186,000 euros. Year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4, and year 5, you do not have the opportunity to get your capital back. At the end of year 5, that's when the capital return is available to you. So that's when the lump sum will be returned to you, should you choose. You'd have made 6% over 5 years. So 6 times 5 would have been 30% return on your money over the 5 years that will be guaranteed. You don't have to pay for any furniture. You don't have to pay for transfer costs. That's all organised and taken care of for you. And as we're dealing with France, you're dealing with a very old and very highly regulated country. And because of that, everything is done formally and officially to the satisfaction of everyone involved. Okay. So there's no ownership cost as long as you sign up to the rental program. There are no closing costs for you to pay, and all of the furniture costs are included in the price, as I said. If anybody's got questions on this right now, would like to ask questions, then please, let's have a look at some questions and see if we can help out at all. But when it comes to investing money, we've got 5 asset classes. We can invest in the stock market. We can invest in fixed income opportunities. We can look at commodities. We can look at bond markets and, we can look at currency markets, and we can also look at real estate. And for me, looking forward as an investment advisor, there are certain investors that have gone, I don't know, let's call it a bit Bitcoin crazy over the course of the last 6 or 12 months, seeing the opportunity to get rich quick. But we've got to remember is that things like Bitcoin are very risky. What's going to happen to the stock market over the next 5 years? Are we going to go through a bubble and it's going to come down? I don't know. No one knows that. However, if you want a stable, low-risk investment that gives you a fixed income on your money year after year, then I would say that this is a really good opportunity. What do you think, Brad?
Yeah, I agree with you, Spencer. And I think it's important to note, I said this on a webinar yesterday, property is a long-term investment. There's no doubt about it. It's performed performed over and over and over again over many years. And I think it's important that people don't see any type of property investment at the moment as an opportunity to flip. I think flipping property is something that is a bygone action or result. I don't think that we can continue to consider that at all. So you know, I think the numbers here all stack up. They're fully guaranteed. You know, Halcyon, as you said, you know, Wyndham have done their due diligence on Halcyon. As you know, Spencer, we Carrick ourselves have done a due diligence on Halcyon. We've had a fantastic meeting of the minds with the Halcyon CEO, and so I just think that, you know, this product just makes sense from an investment case.
Yeah, I think that, look, if I'm to think about people that need income, people that are retired need income on their money. So for me, getting an income is important. My parents are 75 years old, they're retired, they want an income on their money. Growth isn't the most, you know, important thing. But also there are people out there that want some security around their money. If you leave the money in the bank's not giving you any return on your investment. If you open yourself up to risk, then there's the chance you can make more, but there's also the chance you can make less as well. So there's that you've got to weigh up when you invest your money. Whereas with this, it's kind of steady and stable and sensible. And you know, I think that we all in the financial advisory world know that there's no real get-rich-quick schemes that really exist out there. And if the option to get rich slowly exists, then that's the one that I'm probably going to prefer myself. And at the age of 50, I suppose I have to start behaving like somebody who's coming to the back end of their career. Oh, now I sound really old when I say that, don't I?
Yeah, I think, you know, Spencer, the other point is that, you know, I know there are a lot of African countries attending this webinar, so specifically Ghana and Nigeria. There are a lot of people on this webinar from Ghana and Nigeria. And I think, you know, we all, as Africans, we all are exposed to volatile conditions in our countries, volatile currencies, volatile political situations. And so, you know, that makes this proposition that much more enticing. You know, you're investing in a first world economy, first world country. You know, it just in a stable political environment, and it just makes sense again.
Yeah, I think so. Also, one other thing that I didn't mention before is that investors that own these units, if they feel like they'd like to spend, because it's such a great resort, if you want to spend time there, you're given 2 weeks per year that you can use the resort free of charge. So if you do want to use it as an investment and somewhere to go on vacation with your family once a year, then you can choose any 2 weeks you like. It's entirely up to you, and you can go there every year, okay, and it doesn't impact anything. And so I think, considering how lovely it is down there, that may be for some investors, that may be an added benefit of being able to go and use their investment essentially and go experience it themselves. So that's included too. So yeah, there's as far as investments go, it's a fantastic opportunity. What kind of questions have we got coming
in? Okay, let me give you a few. So will I pay income and capital gains tax in France as a foreigner?
No, absolutely not. There's no income and capital gains tax. Your property will be held by a limited by guarantee company, i.e. your asset is held within a company, you will own that company, and you will then receive the income wherever you'd like to receive the income in the world. The only tax liability you would have is if you pay income tax in your own country and you're remitting that rental income into your own country. So that will be, depending on where you live and what the rules are, that will be, but there won't be taxes applied in France.
Yeah, that's it for now. Other than Christelle Coleman, I think, asked whether we'd share the presentation after this, and the answer is absolutely, Christelle. So you will be able to share it with your husband, and hopefully your husband likes it as much as you do.
Fantastic, excellent stuff. So some of the challenges people have when they buy real estate are what country do I buy in, and where's a good place to buy, and do I know what the outcome's going to be of a lot of people are worried about cities right now. A city's going to empty out. Do I buy in a city as it empties out? But somebody was asking me this morning about my office and my business, and for me, when people think about going back to work, years ago we'd have been, no, I'd rather stay away. But nowadays, because we've missed each other so much, I think that people want to get the opportunity to be around each other again. They like that real connection rather than the whole Zoom, or as we've got GoToWebinar connection today. So I think there are lots of opportunities in real estate around the world. And I think what we tend to do as human beings is we stick with a real estate market that we know, which is typically our home market. But with a little bit of research and a bit of homework, there are some great opportunities out there. There really are. And this is why this one, when it came across our table and we started to do our research, we could see that this was a great opportunity for investors. And so when it comes to France, although you may not speak French, please remember that this is a fantastic opportunity in a fantastic country that's the most popular tourist destination in the world. And if any of your clients or investors have ever been to France, by golly, those croissants are good, aren't they?
Spencer, we've got a couple more questions coming in now. So one is, what happens after year 10?
Okay, so after year 10, you have a number of options. Number one, you can sell the property on the open market yourself. So if you want to do that, or you can ask Halcyon. They will take the property and they will sell it on your behalf, and they'll give you a guaranteed, an assured resale. I've got to make sure the words are right. An assured resale of 150% of the price that you paid. So if you paid 100,000 after 10 years, they'll guarantee to sell your property for you and for at least 150% of what you paid. And so that's what they do after. Now, again, what happens in 10 years time, depending on your financial situation and your decisions and your lifestyle even, okay, will determine what you do with the asset. But that's what goes on. So let's just recount everything to make sure everybody understands. Years 1 through 5, you get 6% income on your money every year. From years 6 to year 10, the second 5-year period, you get 8% income on your money per year. After year 5, all the way through to year 10, your capital is protected by 100%, meaning you'll get your full capital refunded to you whenever you want it to be between years 5 and 10. At the end of year 10, the developer gives you some choices. You can continue to own it, use it as a holiday home, sell it yourself, or they'll sell it on your behalf and give you an assured resale of 150% of what you paid. So they're that confident they can do that. At the end of the day, we know over that period of time it will achieve that level of capital appreciation anyway.
Yeah, great, Spencer. Then just one more question. When does the income commence? And I assume they mean the rental income.
Yeah, so the income commences. So as soon as you've paid in full for your property, you will receive at the end of the following quarter your first quarterly income payment. So let's say you pay in full. Now, what are we on? February the 18th. If you pay today in full, then March, April, May, the 18th of May is when you'll receive your first income payment.
Great. And then, Spencer, I know you and I have discussed this at length, but maybe we should just deal with the proverbial question around finance and the potential finance for Africans, on this development in France.
Yeah, look, it can be a challenge, Brad, and let's be really honest about it. It can be a challenge getting mortgages overseas. If you're French and you live in France, no problem. That's an easy peasy, no problem at all. If you live overseas, then there are challenges with anybody buying property overseas. And it's not the property itself, it's the banks. Do the banks want to lend to somebody in a foreign land if they can't control the status of information around whether that person is continually able to fund that mortgage? And so it can be a challenge. We have been able to do it, but it can be a challenge if a country gets blacklisted, for example. That's a challenge too. But it is possible, and we always look at those types of opportunities. But I would say to most people, don't think about that. If you need a mortgage to be able to do it, then then it's probably going to be a bit challenging. You can't get mortgages on these properties anyway until they're complete. So anything off plan can't be mortgaged until it's complete. So the client has to pay 100% of the property price in full first anyway. So that needs to be done first. So once we've got to that point, of course, for those people that need it, we can apply, but we cannot guarantee what the bank is going to say.
Yeah, and I think it's a really important point, Spencer. Firstly, this is why Halcyon have structured the payments over 5 installments, and I think that it's a wonderful indication of how strong Halcyon's balance sheet is. That they are able to do that. I also do agree with you that this is ostensibly a cash purchase, and it's those buyers that it's going to suit. I think 20% per quarter over 5 installments is a generous payment structure. I think it's an affordable payment structure, and the fact is that you start earning rental income from the minute the unit is fully paid for. So again, I think it all just makes perfect sense from a financial structuring perspective, but also from a product perspective.
I agree with you. I think what your investors have to do is they have to look at what they've got. They have to look at their assets, what they've got cash in the bank or in various other investments, and look at it and say, how much of this money do I want to put in something that I don't have to worry about, that's going to bring me 6% income on my money every year, okay, nice and easy without having to think about, and it's not going to cause me sleepless nights like a stock market or a Bitcoin investment might. And give me that peace of mind to know that I've got stability in the income. Because if you're making income on the money and you don't need it, then great, you can reinvest that in other things. If you're making income on the money and you do need it to live on, then maybe you get a chance to retire a bit early because that income will provide some substance for you.
Yeah, and I mean, as you know, Spencer, I mean, we encourage our investors and our clients to have a balanced portfolio, and certainly property is one of the 5 asset classes that as you have mentioned. And again, in this specific case with Halcyon, it just, you get the best of both worlds, don't you? You get to carve off 10% of your portfolio towards a property investment, but you also get 2 weeks a year to utilize that unit, which is quite rare. And by the way, those of you who have invested through Carrick over the years will know that this is quite a departure from our standard buy-to-let. And I think Spencer mentioned this earlier on. This is not a purchase, an investment in a apartment block where it's a buy-to-let. You'll never ever use the unit. It really is just that, an investment. This, as I said, you get the best of both worlds, which is just fantastic. And on a I guess a softer approach, the reality is that you get to invest in one of the most beautiful countries in the world. So yeah, it just ticks all the boxes.
Yeah, absolutely. Let me just give your viewers here an update as to how many units have been sold, or in terms of this. There's around about 90 million euros worth of stock, and 25% of that has been sold already. So that's been sold. There are 5 forest villas, of which 4 have been sold. There's only 1 of those left now. It's been very popular with investors in Europe. It's been popular with investors here in the Middle East, and popular with investors in the UK. And so what we've seen is this opportunity to be able to partner with Carrick and give this access to, only through you guys, there's nobody else that we're working with in South Africa or Africa for that matter, to give them access to this type of opportunity. And I think that it's important to understand that you're going to have to move quickly if you're moving at all, because so much has been sold already. And what you want to do is to secure one of the units and the rental income. And also, one other thing to remember, only half of the resort has been scheduled on the rental program. The other half of the resort is for people that want a holiday home and don't want their property rented out. So a lot of the resort is already sold for people that want a holiday home, and that says an awful lot for the kind of resort this is and how popular it is. So we have limited availability for the rental program on a certain number of units. We obviously, since we talked about this and started working together on this project, have sold quite a few already before this webinar started to your clients. And so for those people out there, that's really important to bear in mind. And whilst nobody wants to rush anybody, it's far from it. But when you have a limited amount of stock that's available and a limited opportunity, there's not much we can do apart from be upfront and straight about what's going on there.
Spencer, another question has come on from Eric. He asked whether there are any charges attached to the rental income that is guaranteed for the first 5 years.
Yeah, you have to pay my green fees on the golf course out of the rental income when you play golf with me. But no, well, that's if I win. No, so there are no fees at all. Your rental income is paid directly to you to a bank account that you nominate anywhere in the world. There are no deductions from that rental income. So if you've invested 200, 6% of 200 is 12,000. That 12,000 will be paid to you. That's what hits your bank.
Yeah, and Eric, if I can just say from Carrick's perspective, you know, I mentioned it earlier on, we do a full due diligence on every single project that we take on. And so what we present is actually what happens and what you get and how you get paid. We steer away from fine print, so to speak, to ensure that what we present is what you get. It's really, really important to us as a financial advisory firm. Good, Spencer.
Let's go through some of these questions actually. What did somebody say when we had a chat the other day? What if the building, the hotel, catches fire? We had that one, didn't we? I'd never heard that one before. So what happens if the hotel catches fire? And so yeah, obviously it's not all about just the hotel, but you know, don't feel that you shouldn't ask difficult questions, because sometimes questions like that make us think as well. And obviously these properties are all insured, and so if the building catches fire, then they'll be insured. But you know, in all honesty, if you have a question that you're thinking about, well, hold on, I don't know that, either speak to your advisor at Carrick, or by all means you can reach out through Brad, or you know, ask the question now. We want to try and make sure that you understand everything and you're completely comfortable with your understanding of it and the kind of decision that you want to make.
Yeah, I agree. And so I just one more question, I think, from Angela McGreal, asking how many are there any properties left for sale? Yes, there are. I'm going to answer on Spencer's behalf. Yes, there are, Angela. But I would strongly recommend that you get in quickly, because they are going at a rapid rate of knots due to the popularity of this investment and this group. So I'm going to bring this webinar to an end, but I just would like to summarize in a couple of words what you're looking at here. So firstly, the Halcyon Retreat Golf and Spa Resort is underwritten by the Halcyon Group, and they have an unbelievably strong balance sheet. The land is owned, so there are no financial there are no finance costs or holding costs, which is really, really important in terms of the profitability of a development and the sustainability of a development. It just gives you a peace of mind that the development is going ahead and is absolutely safe from an investment perspective. We have one of the biggest hotel chain in the world, in the Wyndham Group, operating the hotel, which is just a fantastic for the development, but also for you as an investment. Prices are very affordable, between 186,000 euros and 1.1 million euros. 6% fixed rental income for the first 5 years, 8% rental income for the next 5 years, so years 6 to 10. They are freehold properties, which is really, really important to note. And then from a payment perspective, the installments are well structured, 20% per quarter over 5 installments, or obviously 100% on purchase or exchange of contracts. And the rental income starts from the month 3 after exchange of contracts. So all in all, just a really, really, really exciting opportunity. I would encourage you to get hold of your Carrick advisors, or myself, or Spencer, and let us take you through all the detail, and let's get you part of this project as quickly as possible. Thank you all for joining today. We've had a record number of attendees. I'm really, really excited. Thank you, Spencer, for your time today, and speak to you all soon next week, Thursday, during the next episode. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Brad.